Hi guys, it's your girl Charla from That Girl Cooks Healthy. Today I'm going to show you how to make this delicious one pan vegan paella. It's really tasty, really easy to make, and I cannot wait to show you guys how to make it. So let's get to it. So these are the ingredients that you're going to need. You're going to need some Bombay rice for the paella. Bombay rice is an important component of making paella. So I'm using semi-brown Bombay rice, and that is really what you want to try and go for when you're making this recipe. You'll also need, because it's vegan style, you're going to need some pumpkin and sweet potato. So I have a combination of pumpkin and sweet potato. I also have some olive oil, some red and yellow bell peppers that I've sliced, some vegetable broth because again it's vegan, some mushrooms, some garden peas, some pimento berries, and some bay leaf. You'll need some saffron threads as well. Saffron threads is very important for this recipe. Saffron can be very expensive, I do understand that. So if you cannot afford the saffron, then you can use turmeric as an alternative, but you definitely need either saffron threads or some turmeric to give the rice some color. In terms of spices, I have some regular paprika, some smoked paprika, some black pepper, and pink salt. I like to use red onions. They're a little bit more tart, but I do like to use them in this recipe. I usually add scallion, but I didn't have any to hand, so add some scallion as well to the recipe. And I have some garlic, a cinnamon stick, scotch bonnet, a whole scotch bonnet. You don't want to use half of a scotch bonnet because that's going to make the recipe hot, and paella is not hot. And I also have some thyme and some lime as well, so I'm going to use the juice of a lime. So the first thing I need to do is to activate the saffron threads. So I'm going to do this by pouring the vegetable broth into a saucepan, and then I'm going to combine it with the saffron threads. I'm going to let it just simmer for about 5 minutes, and during that time you're going to notice that the vegetable broth is going to be it's going to take on more of a yellow hue. And that's what we're really looking for, and that's what we want, because like I said, this is going to help to give the paella that yellow color. So we just want to just let it simmer down for about 5 minutes or so. So this is what the broth looks like after about 5 minutes of simmering, and as you can see, it's more of a golden yellow color to it. So I'm going to just remove this from the stove and set it aside. So I have my pan on the stove, and I'm just going to reduce the heat to like a medium to low. Then I'm going to just add my olive oil to the pan, and the first thing I want to do is to temper some of the spices. So I'm going to add my cinnamon stick, my bay leaf, and my pimento berries, and you want to just temper those just for a few minutes until they become aromatic. The size of the paella pan that I'm using is 42 centimeters, which is about 16.5 inches. So you want to use something that is at least that type of size. Don't go for anything smaller, or else the vegetables and the rice are not going to be able to distribute, and it's going to be too deep in terms of when you want to do the when you're cooking the paella. So don't use anything smaller than that. So the next thing that we need to do is to add the red onions and garlic. So we add those to the pan, and then we just want to cook that, or should I say saute, and till it's translucent and soft. And the next thing we want to do now is we want to add our bell peppers, and then we want to add our mushrooms, and then we're just going to cook those for a few minutes until they become really soft. So now we're going to add our pumpkin and sweet potato, and then we're going to add the sprigs of thyme followed by the spices. You just want to keep stirring those ingredients for a few minutes until they start to just slightly soften up. It's not going to cook completely, the pumpkin and the sweet potato, but you just want to just make sure that it's incorporated with the rest of the ingredients, and you just want to just rotate that for a few minutes. So now we're just gonna add the Bomba rice, and once we add the Bomba rice, what we want to do is to sprinkle it in, and then we're just gonna fold it in with the rest of the ingredients. So you want to do that for a few minutes. So now I'm going to add the vegetable broth. So I'm just going to pour that over the paella, or should I say the ingredients in the paella pan. I'm just going to carefully just pour that in, and that should be enough liquid to actually cook the rice and the vegetables. And I'm just going to increase the heat now, and I'm going to just bring the pan to a rolling boil. And once I do that, I'm just going to use my spatula, and I'm just going to just move around some of the ingredients. What you can do, you can either do that, or you can just give it a stir, like a big stir, like one time. You don't want to keep over stirring, because we're going to make the 𝗬cie𝘂'𝗶𝗿𝗲. So the 𝗬cie𝘂'𝗶𝗿𝗏 is basically, if you're Caribbean, is what we would call bun or the pot bottom, but because we're not making a Jamaican recipe, it's a 𝗬cie𝘂'𝗶𝗿, and that is basically the bottom of the paella is going to just create a nice brown crust. So this is the reason why you don't really want to be disturbing it and doing too much to it. So I just basically just tucked it a few times, or like I said, you can do one big stir, and I'm just going to reduce the heat. I'm going to add the garden peas first of all before I reduce the heat, and the Scotch bonnet. So add those things first, then reduce the heat. So you want to reduce the heat to like a medium low, and you're just going to cook the it's going to take about 20 minutes up to 20 minutes. You want to keep an eye on things, and most importantly, you want to make sure that the 𝗬cie𝘂'𝗶𝗿 is formed as well. You'll hear it maybe crackling, and you know it might be toasted, and you can also use like a little spatula as well, just to check to see if it's formed, so you get that crust. So just have a bit of patience and just allow it to cook for up to 20 minutes. So this is what my paella looks like once it is cooked. The 𝗬cie𝘂'𝗶𝗿𝗏 was formed as well. I thought I had it on camera, but I didn't have that angle, unfortunately, to show you guys, but it is nicely formed. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to remove the pan from the stove. You can leave it on there switched off, and I'm going to just put some foil over the pan, and I'm going to leave it to rest for about, say, 5 minutes with the foil on. So this is what the paella looks like once it's cooked. I did squeeze the lime juice over it, but unfortunately I didn't show that on camera. It's a really easy recipe to make. I hope you guys make it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and don't forget to like, comment, and please subscribe.